Hey everyone, it's James from FunFoods, and today I'm going to show you how to make these Mountain Dew flavored macaroons. Now, I've made macaroons before, but never like this. So keep watching and I'll show you step by step how to make these. Now, the first thing we need to do is start out with a food processor. In this food processor, I'm going to add 1 cup of almond flour. I'm also going to add 1 3/4 cups of powdered sugar. And about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now we're just going to process this until it becomes real fine bits. All right. Now, just to make sure we have it as fine as possible, I have a strainer here, which I'm going to work the rest of it through into a large bowl. And once that's all done, we're just going to move this bowl aside and bring in another bowl. In this medium bowl, I'm going to put 3 egg whites in there, just the whites, no yolks. Next, what we want to do is with our whisk attachment, we want to whisk this up until it forms soft peaks. Very important you do this. Don't skimp on this step. I have messed up before by not whisking it long enough, so very important. Once you've whisked this up until it's formed soft peaks, what you can do is we're going to start adding in some sugar. And you know it's soft peaks when it's not quite firm enough to where you can turn the bowl upside down and nothing falls out. But it's still a little firm and foamy, really. All right, so we're going to slowly add in our 1/4 cup of sugar to this as we whisk. All right, so now that it's formed stiff peaks, which is firm enough that you can hold the bowl over your head without the stuff coming out. We're gonna add some vanilla extract to this, just 1/2 teaspoon. Mix that in. And because these are Mountain Dew macaroons, I'm gonna add some green food coloring, just a few drops here. Now we're going to slowly add our dry ingredients to our wet, and you just want to do about 1/3 of it at a time. And we want to fold it in. And when it resembles wet sand, it's about done. Another way you can check is to do the figure 8 pattern and see if it holds up. And what I mean by that is this. Scoop some. And if it doesn't become too runny and run off, then it's ready. Now we're just going to take this and put this in a piping bag. Fill this up. Probably only about 1/2 of this will go in this piping bag, and then 1/2 in another one. Next, I have a baking sheet with a silicone mat on it, and you can use parchment paper if you like, but I just find it easier to do this. We're going to take our dough, basically right here, our batter, and I'm going to cut a rather decent sized hole out of it. Remove that. And we're just going to pipe out our cookies. Here we go. Do it about 1.5 inches. Just make sure they're all the same size. That's the most important thing. Keep them about 1 inch apart. All right, so the next important thing you need to do is drop the tray. And what I mean by that is you're just smashing the tray down, or you can drop it. And do it a couple different times. And if you still see some dimples forming at the top, what you can do is wet your finger and just tap it with your finger a little. All right, so now we just got to have these sit out and rest for 30 to 60 minutes until it forms a skin over top of them. Okay, so my macaroons have set up for about an hour now, and we just want to check them to make sure they're dry across the top. They are. And we're going to put them in the oven. I preheated my oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to put them in there for around 15 to 18 minutes. Okay, so after about 19 minutes in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, these look good. Now we're just going to let them cool down completely before we move on to the next step. Now we need to make our Mountain Dew syrup, which is going to act as the flavoring for the insides of our macaroons. And to do that, you want to start out with a small heavy bottom pan. I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar to this. Now I always get the comment that why are you adding sugar to Mountain Dew? It has enough sugar in it already. The reason why is when we heat this up over the stove, what it does, it becomes a bitter taste if it doesn't have the sugar. The sugar keeps the flavor in there. It's just how it works. Don't shoot the messenger. And to this, we're going to add 1/4 cup of light corn syrup. Then the most important ingredients, 1/2 cup of Mountain Dew soda. Just take this over to the stove and we're going to heat it up until it reaches 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Now just turn on your heat to medium high, and we want to stir this until all that sugar has dissolved. And once most of the sugar is dissolved, we can add in our candy thermometer. Make sure it's not touching the bottom, but in the liquid. We just want to wait until it gets to 230 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so once it's reached 230 degrees Fahrenheit or 110 degrees Celsius, turn off your heat, and we're just going to let this cool down now. So our Mountain Dew macaroons are just about done cooling down, and what we got to do is make our buttercream filling. And in order to do that, this is where the flavor is going to be. This is where all that Mountain Dew flavor is going to be. And I have a medium bowl here. Inside this bowl, I already have 1 stick of softened butter. I'm going to add another 1/2 of a stick, so that's 12 tablespoons total. And what we want to do is just cream this together right now. And now we're going to come in to our Mountain Dew flavoring, that our syrup that we made. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this because I really want that flavor in there. And cream that with the butter. Next, we're going to add about 2 cups of powdered sugar. Do 1 cup at a time. I'm going to make this yellow just to keep with the colors. All right, now we're just going to put this in a piping bag and pipe it out onto our macaroons. We're just going to add some right in the middle. So careful not to add too much. It's easy to do though. And just take the other one, press it down gently. And there we go, there's one. Well, now it's time for the taste test. I'm gonna bite in to our macaroons. Now, just to tell you, these are almost always better if you put it in the refrigerator and eat it the next day. It's so much better, but I'm gonna try it out and see if I can taste that flavor of Mountain Dew in that filling. Here we go. Oh yeah. These are good. And you really do get that Mountain Dew flavor inside that filling. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make these Mountain Dew macaroons. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Also, check out this video right here because you're gonna absolutely love it. And until then, I'll see you next time. The whites, whisk it until it's formed. So once you've whisked it long enough, firm enough to where you can turn the bowl over.